morning, and thank you very much for that very kind introduction. Multiple very kind introductions, starting with the principal. Pay my respects to the principal. I have something more to say about her, but I'll come back in a minute. The principal, the head of the BSc Data Science program, Dr. K.B. Priya Iyer, who's given such a wonderful oversight of what is going to happen in the next couple of days. Ms. Gowri, the head of the MSc Information Technology program, who is going to deliver the vote of thanks. I give my morning greetings to all of you who are here from so many colleges. I was so impressed to hear that some of you are here from Manipur, which I know is going through some very difficult times. So it shows the dedication that you have for learning and for participating in intellectual pursuits. I'm very happy to be here for multiple reasons. And then I have one small kind of bit of envy, I have to tell you in a minute. So I'm happy to be here because ICT Academy, one of your partners, is part of my department in the government of Tamil Nadu. So I feel a bit connected to the event. I'm also happy to be here because of the great efforts made by the principal, because the original dates for this conference conflicted with the dates I had for my government work, and she was kind enough to change the date a bit to have me come and speak. And so I felt so committed that I showed up half an hour or 45 minutes early today. But I must say, after watching all of the videos, it reinforced something that I'd already been talking to the professors and the principal about. But it told me something new. I think that, if your principal entered politics, I'd have a tough time running against her. She's better, more articulate and more presentable than most politicians. And I'm a bit envious that I'm not that good in front of a camera. I also got to figure out how to be that good. But I have a personal luxury as well of being here, because I came here in 2019, around the same time, for an India Today debate in which I represented somebody who had dropped out. So on behalf of somebody, I was an MLA then, I was not even in government or an MP. And it turned out to be a very interesting experience. So I have fond memories, and I'm happy to come back. But most of all, I am a great fan of this college. I'm a great fan of this college because the Dravidian movement, which my family was part of founding back in 1916, and which now I'm the fourth generation of my family to try and do some service to the ideals of that movement, we emphasize the notion of education, education for all, and particularly for all genders, all religions, all communities, and that as being the building block of the notion of social justice and equitable outcomes. And so any institution that does such stellar work in education, and in particular women's education, I'm a great fan of, and so I'm very, very happy to be here for almost any event, in particular this IT event. And it's, education is a tricky thing, right? We can all go to class, especially in the day of the internet. You can get the equivalent of a PhD's worth of knowledge, even in a hardcore field like physics, without ever entering an institution like a college or a university. So what is it that education is supposed to give you beyond the transformation of information, of facts, or the outcomes of research? There's so much more to education, and I think as we are discovering now, particularly in my old university, MIT, a lot of education has to go back to the core values of the humanities, of being a cultured, of being a knowledgeable, of understanding history, of appreciating art, of thinking about society beyond just technical education. Even places like MIT, engineering, high-tech schools, have started to think about that. In the case of M.O.P. Vaishnav, I'm so happy to see so many aspects of your development as a human being, beyond the classroom, beyond the labs, in community service, in hands-on projects, in working with women to create entrepreneurial kind of development for them, in schools, in the community radio. So I really commend that. I think, that's the kind of holistic, everybody says it, how many people do it. I can see so many variations beyond the curriculum that I think will serve you all well. And I'm sure over the years, your faculty, your administration has seen the benefit of that for your alumni and has kept on reinforcing and even expanding the scope of those activities. It's an interesting time to be having this conference also, though it's the 25th anniversary of the program and your 6th edition. This field is constantly changing. I mean, the world is constantly changing, but technology is particularly rapidly changing. Even in such a rapidly changing field, I would say there have been 3 or 4 in my lifetime, in my adult lifetime, probably 4 or 5 inflection points or the beginning of new S curves. I can remember in 1980, I think, except the people on the stage, and many of you are probably not born, the first personal computer, IBM computer, came out. And by coincidence, I happened to have somebody who was coming back from the US, and we got one in our family. And if I tell you, you won't believe me, that IBM personal computer had RAM, which we now talk about 4 GB, 8 GB, 16 GB and all that. My tablet has 16 GB RAM. That computer had, it was the size of this podium, like this big, and it had 64 KB RAM and a 20 MB hard drive. Right? One picture on your phone is more than that. So that was the big shift, because till then you had to be a part of an institution, you had to be connected through some network, you had to have access to a mainframe or a mini mainframe like a VAX or a Unix workstation. The next one was probably the original internet revolution, late 90s, early 2000s, till the crash of the NASDAQ, the Netscape kind of browser, internet, TCP/IP, email revolution. And we've had many inflection curves since then. But I would say this last one, past the IoT and into the machine learning and AI and generative AI, is probably the one that is going to be the most disruptive to the existing models. Now, for people my age, disruption may not be such a good thing. But for people your age, disruption is a wonderful thing, because it really accelerates your possibilities. It removes a lot of the kind of layers above you, because you now have this clear daylight in a new field where no history exists, and it allows you to innovate in a way that it would be harder to do in more traditionally established businesses or sectors. So in that sense, it's a very wonderful time to be in the ICT space, especially now in the last 12 months, I would say. This version of AI, which is the 4th or 5th coming of AI in my lifetime, seems to have more legs. Of course, nothing is definitively forever, but this seems to have more legs, and it will be more disruptive and transformative. It's also an interesting time to contemplate the role of India and the role of Tamil Nadu in the global economy. I make this point almost everywhere I go outside the country, but I'll make it inside the country as well. If you look around the world today, roughly 1 in 6 human beings alive is an Indian. That's how populous India is relative to the rest of the world. If you exclude those people above 60, if you exclude the aged and aging part of the population, which is not just in the developed countries, but these days even in China, because of its old one-child policy, and you look at those alive today and likely to be born in the next 20 years, and then those within the age of 60, now you're looking more like 1 in 5 people in the world is Indian. Then you exclude those people who have not had a basic education and not within the possibility of getting it because of war and disruption and poverty and famine in a lot of places in Africa. Now you're looking at something like 1 in 4 people in the working age and likely to be working age in the next generation population of the world is India. So China's decades of growth came because it became the manufacturing center of the world. India's decades of growth have to come from being the human resource capital of the world. And it is much better to be the human resource capital of the world in the service sector, in technology, and in a disrupted world of technology where brand new technologies and brand new approaches are being evolved and will be the actual value adding models of the future. In that sense, Tamil Nadu is in a unique place. I'm in the IT industry now as a minister, so I travel a lot. I do some analyses. We are a very, very unique place even within the Indian context. If you look at Bangalore, one of the leaders in the IT space, less than a quarter of the IT workforce in Bangalore is of Kannadiga origin. In fact, maybe 20-25% maybe of Tamil origin. If you go and look at Hyderabad, at Pune, at Delhi capital region, you will not find more than 30, 35, 40% at most of the talent of the workforce is of local origin. It is all people from outside and many people from Tamil Nadu. If you start even in Chennai, let alone go down to Coimbatore or Madurai, you will find that as much as 80% of the talent is actually of Tamil origin. That's a startling and very stark difference. The reason for that difference is that because of 100 years of focus on education, what I started with, the core of the Dravidian movement, and because we now produce something around 16 to 18% of all the engineering graduates of India. India produces about 1 million engineering graduates a year. Tamil Nadu, which is about 5-6% of the population, produces 16 to 18% of the engineering graduates there. This is where the talent is. So, of course, as much as Tamils go on to do other things in the IT industry, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, in the Bay Area, many famous Tamil people doing really well, a lot of the work comes to us here in Tamil Nadu. And so our vision as the government is really kind of three-part. The first, we want to have a distributed development across Tamil Nadu. We don't want all the work to be done in Chennai only. Chennai has some pluses, it has some minuses, it has some natural disaster risks. And in the notion of our social justice and equity, we want distributed growth. As my Chief Minister says, no district should be left behind. So we have started focusing a lot on not just developing IT workspaces in Coimbatore, in Madurai, in Salem, in Tirunelveli, in Erode, but also speeding up our Tamil Nadu FiberNet project, which we hope will be done by this year. And by, let's say, September this year, we should be able to offer about 120 Mbps broadband around, or 100 Mbps broadband around the 12,600 or so villages of Tamil Nadu. That we believe is social equity and the ability to do work from wherever you are without having to migrate. We focus a lot on finishing skills and developing people who are job ready or employment ready. And ICT Academy plays a big part on that, but we also have the Tamil Nadu Skill Development Corporation. We also have the Non-Mudalvan scheme. We have various efforts to try and ensure that, of course, people at this institution are already job ready, but that's not true of all the institutions we have. In some cases, we have sacrificed quality or finished quality for scale or volume. We need to fix that. And the third area is to encourage entrepreneurship, innovation, and the mentality that if you have a good idea, then you can actually develop it yourself with the right support, with the right ecosystem. And so in my department, we have something called the Information Technology Hub of Tamil Nadu, IT&T Hub. In the MSME department, we have something called Startup TN. We have many such initiatives to try and encourage innovation and bring startups to a level where they can compete in the market. So we have this workforce, we have this brilliant, unparalleled, world-class, highest in the world volume workforce in IT is in Tamil Nadu. We're very proud of that. Now we need to get them to work, right? We actually want to create opportunities. And as much as we hate to see it, sometimes we do see people migrate to other places, hopefully temporarily, and then get really good or get really rich or get really successful. Many of the GCCs we have here, many of the global companies whose footprints are now in Tamil Nadu is because somebody from Tamil Nadu went there, did well, and said, hey, let me go back to my hometown, my state, and set up a GCC for you, or set up a tech center for you, or an R&D center for you. So many examples are there like that. I did that once for my old bank, Lehman Brothers, when I came back because I set up in Mumbai. So we want to have people either go only temporarily, or if they go, try and bring them back, or leverage their growth so that they can reinvest and scale opportunities here. But much more importantly, we want to grow the local economy and create those kinds of needs and opportunities. As you know, we'll have a multiplier effect and the need for jobs if we can innovate. And we have the luxury of a relatively high per capita income, about 4,000 US dollars, and a relatively low Gini coefficient, which means less separation and more equity than most states, and therefore relatively high consumption and a relatively high multiplier effect as we grow our economy, which is right now about a 300 and change billion US dollar economy, which is not small at all. And finally, we need to improve our investment environment. We need to make it easier to do business. We need to give more incentives. We need to facilitate setting up companies. We need to improve our infrastructure, the airports, the roads, the affordable housing. And as we focus on improving the talent and finishing and soft skills, then also we should be able to get the right congruence of attracting more investments and having the workforce ready to work there. Because when I first came, I pointed out that we are a very broken market. Normally, markets will be either in balance or out of balance, one side or the other. Either you'll have too much demand and too little supply, or too much supply and too little demand. But when I came back from almost 30 years overseas, I discovered here as an opposition MLA that we had both. We had a lot of jobs for which there were not enough skilled people, and a lot of young people who didn't have a job. So this is the gap we've been trying to fill, at least since we came to office. We focused a lot on this gap of skilling, finishing, fitting, and ensuring that we bring the investments to meet this accelerated kind of human capital development. I think these conferences are so vital to providing you perspective beyond what you get every day from your faculty and your friends. Anytime you can expand your horizons and expand your thinking, it is a more likely confluence to create some innovation and out-of-the-box ideas, suggestions, solutions. I'm sure you'll have an exciting couple of days. I know there are many wonderful papers to be presented. I want to congratulate the college, the department, the many people who worked to put this conference together and to curate all of the papers and the content and the speakers. I know it must have been a lot of effort. I'm sure it will be a great success. I hope you also have a very good time and meet and make a lot of new friends. And I thank you once again for inviting me, and I will take my leave. Thank you.